Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to the Mackay T Podcast. Here are your hosts, Ryan Mackay and T Davis.
This is the Mackay T Show. This is the Mackay T Show. We talk movies and TV shows, sports and world news, coasting like on a world cruise. Hosted by Brian Mackay and T Davis. Yeah, you can't tame us. We're going to the top, we're becoming famous.
What time is it?
It's time for the Mackay T Show.
What time is it?
I said it's time for the Mackay T Show.
Welcome back to the Mackay T Show podcast. First off, this morning, well, now afternoon, I would like to just really start off and say rest in peace to, if not the greatest, one of the greatest athletes of all time. Muhammad Ali passed away this past weekend at the age of 74. Just want to take a few minutes to kind of reflect on his career and his, really his notoriety. His whole boxing career was, if you kind of look at, how he was as a social figure and how he was athletically, his biggest attribute to our society was something he did outside of the ring. The things that the way he was so outspoken, the way he fought for, he perceived as social injustice, and he's going to be remembered more for that than anything he did on the inside of the ring. He's probably the most flamboyant person we've ever had, as far as being so, just loud and boisterous, and he really knew how to sell his fights. As far as, like I said, about his social aspect of his career, his social fighting, his social injustice fighting, he was Charles Barkley before Charles Barkley. He was that, I might be wrong, but I doubt it type of person that can just say whatever he wanted to say and not care about the consequences. What are your thoughts on him?
Yeah, I'm not like a boxing fan to say he's the greatest of all time. He was obviously real fun, and when you talking trash while you beating people up, that's awesome, I guess. Unless you're the person getting beat up. Then, but calling out the rounds you're gonna beat people in and all that. But like you said, probably his biggest contribution is the standing up for his rights and not going to jail instead of going to the war. And I'm not a boxing fan, so I really don't have a lot of opinion on the greatest of all time ordeal.
Right.
You say so. Oh, look, that's about what I can say. Sure, if you say he's the greatest, the greatest person I'd probably say during my time was Mike Tyson, because that's who I might have thought the most. If I was, obviously I wasn't trying to go to boxing events, but when you watch TV, you don't knock somebody out every 30 seconds, 40 seconds, a minute, so. Yeah.
And not just the whole, him going to jail and not, as far as going to jail and not doing the whole draft thing, standing up for that. That took 3 or 4 years out of his boxing career. That was him in his prime, and that was when he was really cooking. So for him to know that that's a possibility for something like that to happen, and still have the courage to stand up for something he believed in. That was awesome, just to look back on. I will say this, his only misstep, as far as and I'm being very facetious and funny when I say this, but truthfully, in my eyes, his only true misstep in life was the 1977 biopic that he starred in, called The Greatest. As good as a showman, and you would think he would be the greatest actor in the world. He was horrible at being himself. That movie was so terrible. I'm sorry if I'm offended. I don't want to offend anyone. I'm being very funny when I talk about this, just because it's fresh on my mind. I happen to see it this weekend.
They know that movie was horrible, and that don't discount whatever you think about him as a boxer.
Right.
If you make a bad movie, you make a bad movie.
Yeah, and it just so happened that I happened to see it again this past weekend, and because they played just about everything he had a part in. Yeah.
I say that movie that Will Smith did was pretty good. I did watch that, but
yeah, that was very good. Will Smith did a heck of a job. But yeah, so we just wanted to go ahead and give our opinion on the great one, the greatest, and hope that he's floating like a butterfly and stinging like a bee in heaven.
You better sit down somewhere. Ain't nobody be fighting in heaven.
Well, moving on to the NBA Finals. What a last night was worse than terrible. I don't think I can recall in NBA Finals history a team laying down as quickly as the Cleveland Cavaliers did last night. Through the first two games, the Golden State Warriors has set an NBA Finals record with a 48-point win margin combined games 1 and 2. Let's see. The first game saw what everybody kind of predicted. They thought, coming off of the OKC Western Conference Finals, that there might be a little sluggishness, might be a little little wear and tear, tiredness, and if you would look at the box scores through the first two games combined, honestly, if you looked at the box scores and you saw the stat lines for Klay Thompson and Steph Curry, you would think that Cleveland is in rare form and in control of the series. But in game one, it was Golden State's bench, most notably Sean Livingston with 20 points. Andre Iguodala and Leandro Barbosa also contributed big time and got them that first game. And in the second game, Draymond Green was 5 of 9 from the 3-point line, and literally was the most wide open I've ever seen anybody in history. And if that wasn't the game plan, clearly it was the game plan for Cleveland to kind of leave him open and hope that he misses and gets frustrated. If it wasn't the game plan, nobody from the Cleveland Cavaliers better admit it, because they looked awful if it wasn't. Because I've never seen somebody so wide open. He had all the room in the world.
I thought they would show up and compete better than they are, and obviously Golden State is good. We all know that, but you just think like maybe we don't, or I didn't think that. Obviously, I think Durant and Westbrook are good, but they clearly are better than we knew, because, or maybe they're just a better team than Cleveland altogether, because Cleveland just don't look like they have no answers. And the worst part for them is, like I said after game one, which we didn't do a podcast on this necessarily, but the scary thing for them should have been that while you didn't play well and you missed a lot of points in the paint, Stephen Curry and Klay Thompson didn't play well either, and you still got beat up.
Right.
So now they played game two. Stephen and Klay really didn't have like outstanding games. They played solid, like. So you still should be concerned, because they could just blow up at any time, and then you just really don't have no answer for what's going on.
Yeah, I can't remember which commentator it was last night when, it was probably halfway through the second quarter and there was a 6 or 7 point lead. No, it was up to 11 at this point. And one of the commentators said that, it's crazy that Golden State's up at 11 points right now, and just thinking that any moment now Steph Curry and Klay Thompson could get going and this could really get out of hand. and it never truly happened, but it still got way out of hand. I need Tyronn Lue to, the real head coach of Cleveland Cavaliers, LeBron James. I need him to make some changes, do something.
Well, here's the problem. We talked about this. I feel like I mentioned this on something. He a new coach.
Yeah.
We talked about. I mean, LeBron the only one that's really been to the finals on that team besides the couple. Like, yeah, they went last year, but that don't give you experience that one game. And Irvin and Love didn't even play, so they don't have, any NBA Finals experience. Like, this their first NBA experience, and the stage appears to be maybe too big. We'll see, because as all the NBA players would say, the series doesn't start till you lose on your home court.
Right.
Which at this point, I don't even see Cleveland winning when they get back home, because they're playing god awful. I actually watched the game. Shout out to Nick, gave me let me look at his league pass, so I watched the game in 15 minutes. And they just didn't have any answers.
No.
Like the way that Golden State spread the floor out, they not gonna get any answers. They don't have a rim protector that can also, like, Durant could switch because he's athletic enough and he's so big and he's a guard, so he's used to playing out on the floor. Like that was helpful for OKC to try to do all the switching, but now they can't do it because Love can't switch. And if you take him out, I don't know who you bringing off the bench that's gonna be able to do it. I didn't realize that Irvin is he ain't even a solid defender, let alone good. He's still a deer in headlights. Maybe getting home and being more comfortable and getting your routine at home is going to help him, because he's playing really bad. And I don't know that it's necessarily because of Golden State's defense. He's just not playing well. Their role players, obviously that 45-10 or whatever that was off the bench scoring, they should play better at home. But even if they do play better, LeBron, I don't like him and I don't want them to win, but he needs to be back into that mode where when he first was in Cleveland, because how can you be in Cleveland and play with a bunch of, and I hate to use the word scrubs, because if you're in the NBA you can play, but nonetheless, play with a bunch of scrubs or role players and then lead them to the finals and compete. But now you got some solid, like, players. People would say Love is even a star, or Irvin too, and you struggling like this?
Yeah, he needs to get back in that mindset he had, like when they were playing the first time in Cleveland, like you said, when they were playing the Pistons and the Celtics, where he was just scoring 45 points and just taking over games. That's
what he needs to do.
Yeah.
Until his people get their mind right, just go ahead and be like, all right, I'm going to take this game over. Y'all get on my back, and then when y'all get comfortable, y'all gonna have to help. But for right now, I'm gonna take over. But he's so frustrated.
Yeah.
Because in his mind, he thought, and you can see from his reaction from these losses, that he thought that they were gonna be able to compete. And the first picture I saw this morning was his hand over his face, like, I can't believe this is happening on the bench. And throughout the whole game, the part when they were getting blew out, you could see the frustration. And usually stars, they might get mad, but you rarely see, like, they frustrated, like, and he is so frustrated, which is not going to help them.
No.
He got to get out of that and just be like, look, I'm going to be Superman right now until y'all can get it together, even if I take 30 or whatever, 40 shots. I mean,
well, yeah. He also needs to stop playing with the media. He can't be this dumb and oblivious to what he's saying. This man, in his post-game press conference, had the audacity to say that he was just one of 15 players on the team. First of all, no, you're not. You can't truly make me believe that you really believe what you are saying. Not someone who wants all the control, who ran a coach out of town when the team was 31-10. who was in the huddle, trying to run the show with the new coach, who would still be in Miami if Pat Riley would have let him and his homies and all his little crew do whatever they want to do. You can't really try and make me believe that you're going to tell me that you're just one of 15 players on the team.
His problem is, I think he might be believing I don't know. I just don't like him. I just don't like him. He's so arrogant, and if you can't, again, I just go back to the little things. You can't celebrate one of your peers winning it. Yeah, you'll be mad and salty if you felt like you had it or you had a better season than him, but nobody had a better season than Curry did this year. And instead of you just saying, yes, he had a great season, he deserved it, like most stars would have said, even Michael Jordan, I feel like Kobe probably would have said it, even if he didn't mean it, he would have said it.
Right.
But you want to go with this, his value is this, and the best and ever is this. And I'm like, he needs some humble pie, and he's about to get it. Because I thought this series was going in 7. This might be over in 5. I think they might win one game, and if they don't win game 3, it's going to be over in 4. But he needed some humble pie. He about to get it. And you wanted the coach out. Now you got Lou. See if he as good as you thought he was going to be. Because it's going to be up to him to make an adjustment.
I got you, T. I got you. In honor of Muhammad Ali, if he keep talking that jive, they gonna go down in 5. If he talks some more, they gonna finish it in 4. Yes.
That's about it. That about sums it up. Because with that foolishness, I'm playing games, I'm going to Miami and hanging out with another player when, like, during the season, that's fine. During the off season, you go out and do whatever you want to. But you don't just run around during the season slapping your teammates in the face. I feel, we friends. Magic Johnson was friends with Isaiah Thomas, but you ain't see him running to Detroit in the middle of the season.
Right.
He was working out and all that other foolishness. And maybe the media made that more than it was. It's still inappropriate. And Lou apparently, from what I read, addressed it. But doing just silly stuff like that, like, why would you think that's acceptable? If I work for the University of Mississippi and I just thought, well, I'm going to just go to Florida and I'm going to work down there. Not just go there to visit. I'm going to go down there and work.
You're going to go down there and teach a couple classes at the University of Florida. Yeah.
Free and then just come on back. I'm pretty sure they probably wouldn't care, but it wouldn't be a good look for my colleagues that I work with in my building. They would be like, what?
Well, if it was up to me, this series be over in 3. Okay, I'm done. That's my last one.
You're doing way too much.
Well, that's called take.
He ultimately, just as from a basketball standpoint, he has got to go back to being something that he's not ever really been good at, but he did it because he had to, and that's being a little selfish.
Yeah.
And he's always been a team player, and in that game, it was several minutes into the game, and he had several assists, but he hadn't even scored. And I'm like, I know you're trying to get your teammates into it and understand that, but at this point, when you need a win, and you need to try to steal a game, because again, Clay or Curry haven't had a good game, and if one of them or both of them have a good game in game 3, y'all, it's a done deal.
Right. Well, that's going to bring us to our first break. On the other side, we're going to get into a little review of the latest lip sync battle episode, and also do a little Back to the Future talk. Well, that's all for the other side. This has been the Mac and T Show.
What time is it? What time is it?
Welcome back to the Mac and T Show podcast. Lip Sync Battle. I know we haven't done very much of the lip sync battle reviews this season. Really and truthfully, because although there have been some very good episodes, they really haven't had anyone on there. Except for we could have done the Chris Paul and Snoop Dogg episode, but other than that, nobody else really that me and T kind of gel with, know anything about. So this is the first one I really felt like would be worth talking about. It was Shaquille O'Neal versus Aisha Tyler. Round one, Shaq went up first, and he did what didn't surprise anybody. He went in there with "Love Shack" by the B-52s.
Oh Lord.
Yeah, he kicked it off with a bang. I thought he was very good, but honestly, I gave round one to Aisha, she performed "Basketball" by Curtis Blow, and she was in full outfit, had the headband, the purple and gold. She had it all down. Even pulled off a dunk while she was there.
Basketball is my favorite sport. I like the way they dribble up and down the court, just like I'm the king of the microphone. So it's Dr. J and Moses Malone. I like slam dunks that take me to the hoop. My favorite play is the alley-oop. I like to give and go. I like to pick and roll. This is basketball with Curtis Blow.
Yes. But no, she was very good, and like I said, I gave her the win in round one. Round two, Aisha Tyler kicked it off with "Poker Face" by Lady Gaga. She had the wig and everything. She really did it up, and I really, truly, I said, I cannot believe Shaq's not about to win this episode. I just knew going in Shaq was going to win, but she did very well for both of her performances. But Shaquille O'Neal came out. First of all, she had this just bodysuit on, where these two girls come out and they kind of rip it off of him, and he's in these sweats, and he's got a little black wig, and he's in these little sweats, and it looks just like, I don't know if you have or any of our viewers have, but if they've seen the movie Flashdance, Jennifer Beals' character in Flashdance, it looks, he's dressed just head to toe like her, with the sweats, the little calf warmers, all of it. He had it all down, and he broke off into Michael, I think, if I say this last name wrong, I'm sorry, but Michael Cimbello version of Maniac. She's a maniac, man. He was in there doing it with the dancers. Oh my God. And then he ends it by he finishes it all off by falling back into a chair, and then they have water just coming down and just going all over him. And it was the funniest scene. It's the funniest thing I've ever seen on Lip Sync Battle. LL Cool J.
Oh, he got this curly wig on. Doing the most.
It's the first, like, LL Cool J has laughed at some other people, but this is the first time where he's literally doubled over. And you can actually hear him say on camera, "I can't even take this anymore." He was done. It was something else.
Lord have mercy. Shaq doing quick feet.
Yeah.
He never moved his feet that fast on basketball.
Let's be clear. He gonna be real sore. I don't know when this was filmed, but I bet he was real sore the next day.
Lord, that's hilarious.
But so Shaq winds up taking it. This was a very good episode. If you have not seen it, the clips are on YouTube. So I definitely urge you to go to Lip Sync Battles YouTube channel and check it out. But let's take one more quick break. And on the other side, we'll get into a little Back to the Future discussion. And we'll let you know all about that when we get back on the other side. This has been the Mac and T Show.
What time is it? What time is it?
Welcome back to the Mac and T Show podcast. Back to the Future. And T probably doesn't know. I gave her the what I want to talk about in this segment, but I'm sure she doesn't know why this even came to my mind. Yesterday, before the NBA Finals came on, TBS showed back to back to back, Back to the Future 1, Back to the Future Part 2, Back to the Future Part 3, all simultaneously. And I took my Sunday and I was lazy and I sat there and watched all three of them. And I haven't seen, the Back to the Futures in a very long time. And let me just say, in Back to the Future 2, when they go to the future in 2015, we are very behind from what Steven Spielberg thought we were going to be. We don't have flying cars. We don't have we don't have little hydration machines. It takes a little mini pizza and blows it up to regular size. We don't have, well, technically we have hoverboards, but they're on wheels. We don't have ones that just float in the air. Spielberg was a little ahead of his time on what he thought 2015 was going to be like. But hey, that was 30 years before 2015, in 1985. So hey, he made a guess. But anyway, in this segment, what I asked T was to come up with a couple of places that if you had yourself a DeLorean and you had a chance to go back in time, and I don't want to put an asterisk on it, but kind of maybe sort of you want to go back in time and just witness a certain thing, a certain time, a certain place, a certain event, and not necessarily be involved in it at all, because you don't want to mess up the space time continuum.
Lord have mercy.
I'll go first and just kind of give you mine.
Okay, we going back and forth with this going on.
That's fine. Yeah, we'll do it like that. I'll do one, you do one. My first one, anybody that knows me is probably not going to be real surprised by this, but I want to go, and this was literally probably roughly 9-10 months before I was born. But March 29th, 1982, I want to be inside the New Orleans Superdome to watch Michael Jordan, or actually Mike Jordan, become Michael Jordan when he knocks down the game-winning shot against Georgetown in the NCAA championship. I would really, really, really enjoy being a part of that and being in that crowd just to see that spectacle, because everyone that knows me knows I'm a big Michael Jordan fan. So that would have been something special for me. What's yours?
Well, since we started with a sport, I'm going back to the parquet in the hot, burning up building 1987 when Magic Johnson hit the sky hook in Game 4 against the Boston Celtics.
Oh, yes. I had a feeling. It was going to be something Laker related.
Yeah, I got to go see that. I need front row seats on.
Right.
I can't be in the Raptors and in that hot building, in that hot box on the parquet sweat.
Yeah, you need front row seats because you're gonna wear your Laker jersey and be in the middle of all them Boston Celtics fans, and you want an easy way out, easy access.
I need to make that alive too, so so I can get the game 5. But all right.
My next one is a sports related, but it's my last sports related one. August 30th, 1997, the first WNBA championship. This is the only one of the first 4 that the Houston Comets won that I didn't see live. I would really like to have been a part of all 4, the first 4, right there live in the Compact Center to see it all. I saw it on TV and it was great and everything, but that was one that I missed out on. I almost missed the second one, but thank you goes out to my former boss and good friend Teresa Weatherspoon for making the half-court shot to force a game 3. So I was able to come and see live the Houston Comets beat y'all. Sorry about that, Spoon. Love you, baby. So yeah. I would have really liked to actually be at the first one, which also happened to be against New York. Sorry, Spoon. I still love you, but but go ahead. You have another one on your mind?
Not necessarily sports related. But maybe if I had to doing other sports one, I would probably do like going to the Olympics when Michael, what's his name, had the gold shoes and won all those, and watching that. Because I'm gonna tell you, when you hear people do the USA, and even though you ain't won a thing, but you see your country standing on top of the ring when they do then they play the
Star Spangled Banner, yes.
The Star Spangled Banner, you just feel some kind of way.
Yes. You know how me and you were doing, and you know neither one of us gave two shoots about the World Cup of soccer. And no offense to any soccer fan, but me and you were in my office, and when them girls were winning that World Cup championship, we were right there just USA, USA.
Yeah, so it could have been any Olympics, I guess. Just as long as we won, and I get to stand in the crowd when one of the American athletes is on the top podium. You know, maybe I know where I would go. I would go see that Dream Team.
Yes, the '92 Dream Team. That would have been something.
I would go see that Dream Team.
Yeah, that would have been a good one. My next one is history related. July 4th, 1776. The Declaration of Independence signing. I would just because that's always interested me, that time period. I've always been kind of fascinated with that, you know, going with history classes and, you know, reading what they know about it, and it just would have been something cool to just be a witness of, be a part of.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, you probably would have missed it. Because the Declaration of Independence was actually signed on August the 2nd, and I don't really know why we celebrated on July the 4th. But I found this out a while ago, and I never really did care to look up as the reason like why, or it was actually approved on August the 2nd. So whether it was signed or whatever, it really didn't happen until August the 2nd. And I really don't know what all that is about, but I hope you don't miss it if you go.
Well, I'm glad you told me, because let me be ignorant for a minute. I did not know. I did. See, the more you know. Because, yeah, I'm going to be real ignorant right now, because I did not know that.
Yeah, it was approved on the 4th, but it wasn't signed till August the 2nd.
Okay, all right. Well, yeah, so I would have to be in town.
So we all learned something new today.
I would have to stay there for a little while. That's fine.
Yeah, like, why you here, son? I thought y'all was signing that to that. No, we ain't signing that to next month. But you can hang on. Oh Lord, that's hilarious.
Oh my.
So yeah, I don't have a date. I can't call out some date, but and there's so many things that happen during this time period. But just I would want to go back and see Jesus do one of these miracles, because that's like turning water to wine, or healing one of these blind people, or just walking by and seeing people trying to be on the roof of houses trying to drop their sick friends in and all that. Or even, I guess the one that would be the most, not that any of those are miraculous, but to see him feed people with the fish and the bread, and just be like, wait a minute, this shouldn't be enough for this many people. But They just keep passing this basket around.
Yes.
And people still eat. So to see that would be crazy.
That would be awesome. Last one I had on my list, August 28th, 1963. For any of my civil rights people, that was the day of the March on Washington, where Martin Luther King gave his famous "I Have a Dream" speech.
We think too much alike, because that was one of mine too. Was going to see him when he did that speech.
I wanted to. I've always, and not just because of what I've read and the movies that I've seen. That moment in time, like for some reason, has always had just gave a special meaning to me. It just gave us a special feeling. And it's one time that I would really like to be a part of, to see that happen, because you know what all has come from it. I think is what really just overwhelms me with the emotion of it all. But I think that would have been a great thing to see live and in person.
That when you sent that list, I was like, I would like to see Martin give that speech because when you hear it, it's just like you get goosebumps a little bit, and then just to be in the building or outside wherever they were,
right?
You just be like, oh my God, this is crazy. Is this real? So now that you saw that one, let me think of another one that I would see. I guess we could have went on that trip together. Something significant that I would like to have witnessed. I can't think of anything else. But that was on my list. That was one of them, was to go see Martin do the speech.
Yes, that I mean, it just I knew when I made up this whole little segment, I knew that was going to be one of mine, and I wanted it to be the last one I said. And in my mind, look, and this is how well I know you. In my mind, I was like, I know T is going to say this, but I don't want her to say it before me, so I'm gonna go first.
See, that's what I'm talking about, right?
And look, I'm gonna start it off with some sports ones, because I know if I start off with sports, T gonna go with sports, and I'm gonna.
Hey, just being messy.
Yeah, real messy.
Now, can I be self-absorbed, and I probably can go back and just get footage of this. Can I go back to the first time I had 28 points in a game against UT, and my grandmama was in the building? Can I go back and watch myself?
You gonna think I'm lying, but I'm gonna send it to you. I'm gonna send you my list. I have an asterisk, and that's the very last one I was gonna say to the people. I wanted to be in Knoxville the time you got 28 on Tennessee. I would just love to see that because I've read that article so many times. If you Google T Davis and University of Florida, Tennessee, and University of Tennessee, it will come up. Women's basketball. Yes. Yeah, this will be.
I said that's kind of self-absorbed. I'm pretty sure you shouldn't be saying you want to go see yourself play.
Well, that was a big moment for you because Tennessee didn't recruit you, and in your mind you probably had some feelings. You felt some type of way about that.
I didn't. Honestly, Tennessee. The thing about what people don't understand about me, I have always played basketball because I love basketball. I'm sure my mother understands that because all the times I wanted to go out in the heat just to shoot, and she would say, "No, it's too hot out there," and I was like, "No, it's gonna be okay." Then me and my little sibling would go out there, they on their big wheel, I'm shooting, and then it'd be like, "Oh, it's hot," and she was like, "I told you." But I didn't even know you could get a scholarship playing basketball. I played basketball because I loved it. I enjoyed it. I actually turned out to be good at it. And then all of a sudden, one year, Chattanooga is hosting the AAU tournament. I never had even heard of AAU. Coaches weren't talking to me about, oh, you can go to college. I just like playing basketball, and that's what I did with my spare time. And then AAU tournament come to Chattanooga, the national tournament. They're like, okay, well, we got to try to get a team. So I tried out for that team, made the team. Next thing I know, people calling me, you want to come to my school, getting all these loves. And that's when I found out that you could go to school to play basketball. So I didn't really even care that Tennessee didn't recruit me.
That's awesome.
I never even thought. I was just like, oh, you can go to school doing this, like, for free? Like, I mean, I just love basketball.
So
like, yeah, now kids probably be like, oh, I'm going to try to kill Tennessee because, they ain't recruit me. I ain't saying nothing about it. I was just like, okay.
Well, see, okay. Well, here's my, because I've always thought your angst against Tennessee was either one or two things. I thought one, it was maybe because they didn't recruit you, but now I know your angst against the University of Tennessee has everything to do with the fact that they are one of the University of Florida's biggest rivals. I know the truth.
Yeah, that's the only reason I don't like them is because they Florida. But especially during the time I was there, like, football dominated them so much now. But when I was in Gainesville and Steve was still there, shout out Steve, it was just like, okay, if we don't beat Tennessee, we're not going to win the East. And if you beat Tennessee, you knew you was gonna win the East. And
Right.
so that was like it was a real rivalry. They would win it, we would win a couple. They would win, we would win. And now it's like we don't won 14, 15, whatever it is in a row, and it's not even kind of a rivalry anymore. But yeah, I didn't care nothing about not being recruited by Pat Summitt. I didn't. It wasn't. That wasn't even on my radar. I just love basketball.
Well, that's always been something I've always wondered. I knew it was one of those two things, but now I know the truth about the truth.
Now you know the truth about the Declaration of Independence and why I don't like Tennessee. This is good stuff.
This was a very educational day.
Oh, that's hilarious.
So we don't want to put out wrong information. I'm glad you corrected me.
Yes, we do not want you flying back in time to the wrong date and be like, oh, they didn't sign it today.
That's fine. I'd have got back in that car and put that thing up to 88 miles an hour and then came back another day.
That's hilarious.
Yes, indeed. Well, I hope everyone has enjoyed this show today. That's going to be a wrap for us on this episode. As always, I am one of your co-hosts, Brian Mackay, and I am with
Dr. T Davis.
Yes, Dr. T. All right. Well, this has been the Mackay T Show podcast. Thank you all for listening.
This is the Mackay T Show. This is the Mackay T Show. We talk movies and TV shows, sports and world news, coasting like on a world cruise. Hosted by Brian Mackay and T Davis. Yeah, you can't tame us. We're going to the top, we're becoming famous.
What time is it?
It's time for the Mackay T Show.
What time is it?
I said it's time for the Mackay T Show.